So when Hasbro revealed tons of that new Spider-Man stuff a while ago, I was thinking, wow, that's really cool. I'm going to get some. And then the prices were shown, and I did not pre-order a single one. However, this Spider-Man was the one that was the most tempting for me because it looked amazing. No pun intended. So, found it at Target a few days ago. And my sister-in-law collects Marvel Legends, and she hadn't secured this set yet. So I picked it up, and I went to the parking lot, and I was like, you know what, let me open this up. It's the plastic-free packaging. Let me make sure there's not any worthless WWE wrestlers in here. So I opened it up, and they were fine. However, I secretly opened it because I wanted to pose this Spider-Man a little bit and see if it was worth it. And I may or may not have gone back into Target and bought myself a set. At the very high price of about $54, I got myself this 2-pack, the Renew Your Vows set, because you get Peter Parker, and you also get Mary Jane as a Spider person, so I think it's kind of cool to have, you know, I've already got Spider-Gwen, now I've got Mary Jane. I think it's kind of cute. But, while she's cool, and I'll talk about her, Spider-Man's the main event here, because even though I have plenty of other Spider-Man figures, and I will be doing a whole video comparing this new Spider-Man to the other Spider-Mans, I think that this one is the best Spider-Man that Hasbro has produced yet, if not one of the best Marvel Legends Hasbro has produced yet. So there's that retro Spidey that everyone was going on about a couple years ago. I knew that Hasbro, even though this retro one looked great, I knew they were going to make a new one with the pinless technology, and no one would care about the retro one anymore. And lo and behold, here we are. So, yes, the price was a tough pill to swallow. No bath. You get a decent amount of accessories, but nothing too outlandish. And man, these figures, dude, they're $27 each. Yikes. And there's not even anything super special other than the fact that this is the best Spider-Man figure ever. I don't know, I just feel like they're really starting to raise the prices to a level that I cannot support. However, I feel like I could not miss out on the Spider-Man. And yeah, it's great. So let's get Spider-Man out of the way. Let's talk about Spinneret here real quick. So this is actually a really cool one for me because this is my first time handling a pinless female Marvel Legends figure. Because I don't really get a lot of Marvel Legends nowadays. Like I said, the prices are just getting a little too high for me, and I collect so much other stuff. However, I'm very happy to have one of these pinless double-jointed female figures because it feels really nice. I mean, the joints, they work so well. I feel like this figure is very fluid. I still feel like they struggle with the torso department on female Marvel Legends. Now, granted, it does have a nice rock right there, but it doesn't have much of a crunch. It can go back nicely, you get a nice arch, but I just feel like it needs more forward. They're afraid to give females an ab crunch because I guess they don't want to break up the female anatomy. Dude, they're an action figure. Who cares? Put a crunch there. But yeah, the articulation's really nice. I mean, you can see that the legs moving out nice. Nice pinless knees right there. She does have these little ankle pieces, which are kind of goofy. But I mean, it's a part of the costume. And speaking of the ankles, they move perfectly fine. You do get alternate hands. You can see she's got the web thwip and she's got an open hand here. You do get the corresponding, thwip on the other side, open on the other side, and you get fists, which are really nice. So you can still have her punch Peter if Peter decides to be a horrible husband. However, you do get an unmasked Mary Jane face, which is very nice looking. I think the likeness there is really good. I mean, that's just Mary Jane right there. Looks the part. The hair is very red. I like that Marvel Legends just don't look like the same person with a different mask on every time. Even though I do have to say this smile does... I feel like I've seen this smile in Marvel Legends about 20 times already. So personally, I actually prefer the Mary Jane head. So I'll probably end up displaying her with the Mary Jane head more often than not. Yeah, that's just really nice looking. I mean, the Spinneret face looks nice too, but I just feel like that smile is very generic. I feel like I've seen it many times over in Marvel Legends. So yeah, the figure's really nicely posable. It does the job. The paint. I hate that I have to look at her butt for the paint, but I'm actually very surprised how nice the web lines are on the paint. Like, they're very nice and crisp. Especially over all the different shapes and things. Like, yes, I'm looking at her butt, but I'm actually very surprised at how symmetrical the lines are. Because Hasbro, they don't get the web lines perfect every single time, but I feel like they did a pretty good job here. I think it looks really nice. The paint's really good. Articulation's really fun. This is a really nice figure. I really like it. I was thinking about selling it off, but I think it's worthy of keeping around. I'm going to keep it. Do I need it? No, I don't need Mary Jane as a spider person in my collection because I don't collect different versions of spider people. I don't even have 2099 or a Miles. I did get the PS4 Miles, but it broke right out of the box, so I returned it and I didn't get another one. So yeah, it's pretty nice, pretty posable. However, she was kind of underwhelming to open second because the first one that I took a look at was Spidey because he was the one that I was really after. And let me just say, the Spider-Man in this set it's worth the hype. So obviously, the elephant in the room, pinless. We finally have a Spider-Man that doesn't have a red showing on the inside of his arms. That's amazing. I love the pinless joints. Honestly, when it comes to 6-inch action figures nowadays, if it's not pinless, it actually deters me from buying it, and I have to really think, I'm like, should I buy it? McFarlane's one of the only companies where I'm, for whatever reason, still okay with the pins. I don't know why, but I hope they go pinless at some point too. This Spidey is so fun to pose. It's not even funny. It is so fluid. Like, look at this torso, dude. He's got drop-down hips. I mean, look at this. And he's got the toe joints. Revolutionary. Well, I say revolutionary. I mean, the articulation style's been around for ages. But it's one of the first times that Hasbro has given us toe joints. And I just feel like with a Spider-Man, it's essential. So I look at any other Spider-Man that they're putting out, like the first appearance Spidey or, Iron Spider, and I'm like, why doesn't it have the toes? Because this one you're putting out at the same time has the toe articulation. I mean, you can get it posed so much more naturally with the toe articulation. I just feel like for Spider-Man, it's essential. I do have to say, when I opened up the box, this toe was about to fall off. That's how it looked. Because they just kind of plug in. I don't even know if it's in focus. It just kind of plugs in right there. And yeah, it's, it holds. But it was kind of a little scary to open it up and his toe was about to fall off. So when you get this set, be careful. I mean, if you don't get a WWE wrestler when you open up the box, make sure that he's got his toes. Because I feel like that might be a quality control issue since Hasbro can't see the figures when they're shipping them out. So, you're already seeing how I'm posing this thing around, man. It is so fun. This is the most fun I've ever had posing a Spider-Man figure, or any Marvel Legend for that matter. This is so posable. It's so fun. It's so fun that I may or may not end up using a display base with him. This might be what I end up doing. We'll see. So he comes with stuff too, obviously. So he comes with very nice, the same hand selection, but it's still very nice. You get the alternate thwip, you get the alternate open hands, and you get the fists for when Mary Jane is a bad wife. Oh, domestic violence. I love making jokes. Alrighty, so yeah, it's really nice. You also get the Peter Parker head, of course. This is my first time with an actual comic Peter Parker head. I've got the Pizza Spidey with the half unmasked head, but this is my first time with the normal one. I'm really happy they're doing the face printing for comic Marvel Legends now, because even though it still looks animated, it still looks like a comic figure. It looks really great. That is comic book Peter Parker right there. I really do like that. Let's pop that on the body real quick, because I'm not going to keep him with the Peter Parker head on, because even though I do think it's a nice addition, I might end up putting this head on a different Spider-Man. So yeah, it's really cool. His head, though, I do have to say, I'm pretty sure this is the same head sculpt as the Pizza Spidey, if not very, very similar. And I mean, I do like the look of this Spider-Man mask. But that's probably the only thing that's keeping me from calling this the definitive Spider-Man action figure, is that he doesn't have more aggressive looking eyes. Because for me, for my Spidey, I like him with the triangular eyes, the McFarlane, the Sam Raimi style. That's what I really enjoy. However, this figure is still absolutely remarkable, and I am just having a total blast with it. It is Hasbro's best Spider-Man, and I feel like the toes really are a big influence on that. They are doing other Spider-Man figures here soon, like the first appearance and, the animated series one with the cell shading. They look great, but man, that toe articulation. Let me show you how important this is. So the toes now allow you to get a natural kneeling pose. And the drop-down hips, too, are so useful. So now you can actually have your Spidey more naturally kneeling. And the articulation is so good, you can actually get him in a 3-point stance. Look at that. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at the toe back there. Like, for ACBA guys, this is going to be perfect. Like, this looks amazing. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks, especially with that toe right there. I don't know why it's so not in center, but look at that pose. 3-point stance. The head is on a dumbbell joint, which is really nice, but also has a cutout back there, so you can actually get him looking further up than you would expect. It does leave a bit of a gap, but I feel like the dumbbell joint definitely serves its purpose here. I feel like it could have been engineered a little bit better, but I still feel like it's really great. He's got the butterfly joints, which I feel like are super useful for certain poses. I mean, look at this, dude. Look at this. And the paint, too, is really nice. I do like how the butterflies do continue the spider legs, but only to a point. Unfortunately, it does kind of cut off right there. But I do have to say, I mean, the webs look really good. They're really nice and clean. I haven't seen a single issue with the webs. He doesn't have webs down his butt, but he does have webs down his back, so we can see there how nice and clean that is. Because my first Pizza Spider-Man, the webs were like totally off center, and I think they were like missing at a certain point. like a whole section of his shoulder was just missing the web on it. That was kind of funny. But man, it's just so fun. You get a boot swivel, the ankle pivot's really nice. You get a lot of nice up and down at the ankles. The articulation is insane. This is Hasbro's most nicely articulated figure. It is definitely one of Hasbro's very best 6-inch action figures ever produced. And I feel like, in a way, it's historic. I feel like the culmination of the pinless joints and the abdomen joint and the ab crunch and the drop-down hips and the pinless, I already said that, but I have to emphasize I love the pinless, and the toe joints and this dumbbell joint at the neck. I feel like all this technology has just culminated into what I consider the ultimate Spider-Man. This thing is remarkable. I really cannot say anything nicer than what I already have. It is Hasbro's best Spider-Man. It really is. So I think I've pretty much said all I really need to say. I've gone over all of his articulation. He is remarkable. So, like I said, I am going to be doing another video comparing him. Kind of doing a little bit of an action figure evolution of Spidey's, seeing how we got from where we started to this ultimate Spider-Man. I think it is remarkable. If you are an action figure collector and you want a Spider-Man, this is the Spider-Man to get. The Mary Jane figure is also really nice. It's a nice way to kind of look at how Marvel Legends does female action figures nowadays. I think it's really good. However, the Spider-Man is what is essential here. This is the Spidey to get. I am sure they will re-release the Spider-Man in different ways. Heck, if they do it with a different head, I might get it. However, like I said, these prices are hard to swallow. I mean, $27 each. A $54 2-pack here. I think it's like $56 on Hasbro Pulse. Direct from the manufacturer. It's more expensive than in Target. Yikes. So, the prices suck. However, they are improving the quality. This Spider-Man is not the $20 Spider-Man we bought like 4 years ago. It's not. This thing is better. However, the price is a tough pill to swallow. For me, as much as I love this Spidey and I want to go and I want to get other Spider-Mans because I love this one so much, I need to remember this is the best. You know, the other ones aren't going to be as good as this. They're not going to have the drop-down hips or the toes or, you know, some of them aren't even pinless. I think Hasbro is running out of excuses to, you know, have pinless figures. They need to totally retire all of the molds with the pins, in my opinion. Because seeing a new Marvel Legend released with pins and then seeing ones without pins, it feels lesser. It feels cheap, but it's still the inflated price. Ugh. Anyways, I think I've rambled on long enough. I highly recommend this set. If you don't get this set, hold out for when they release this Spider-Man with the toes and the drop-down hips and the pinless on its own later. Hopefully they do. they seem to confine Spider-Man to multi-packs because they know that people will want the Spider-Man, and they might as well sell you something else while they're at it. Hell, they got me on this. They got me with the Mary Jane. However, I don't regret buying it, even though it was so expensive. It hurt to spend that much money on action figures. It would have only cost me $40 just a couple years ago. It hurt. But I think it was worth it. I really recommend this set. I'm thinking about, changing my mind and biting the bullet and getting some of the other Spider-Man figures that I didn't get originally, like Iron Spider and Spider-Man Noir, that I was planning on getting, but things happen. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to the patrons of Patreon. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.